All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday. We have so much to discuss on this show from the likes of Premier League Game Week 25, Premier League Game Week 26, which starts today, tomorrow, and Thursday, action from the ATP Tour, as well as the WTA Tour. I'm very excited for today's stream. We have a lot to cover, so let's just get right into it. This past weekend, we had some incredible action in the Premier League. Let's start with Leeds vs. Forest on Friday. This was a 3 p.m. kickoff on the East Coast, and I had predicted a 2-1 win for Leeds. Leeds ended up taking this match 3-1, scoring goals from Bogle, Okafor, and Calvert-Lewin. And man, that Calvert-Lewin goal was just impeccable. I mean, the striker's instinct that he has to get on the end of that and to just chest that into the net, that's something that you don't teach. You just have that innate within you. Incredible finish. And shout out to Gruev, definitely man of the match. The ball that he played to Bogle in the first half to open the scoring, that long over the top, over the whole team ball was just absolutely picturesque. Shout out Leeds, good for them. On to match number 2, we have Manchester United versus Tottenham. I had predicted a 3-1 win for Manchester United, and they ended up taking it 2-0. Now, this game could have gone drastically differently if it hadn't been for Christian Romero doing Christian Romero things and getting a red card very early on in the match. I believe it was like the 13th minute or so. United end up leaving with all 3 points, but that's because after the red card, they then dominated. We've seen this United team play against a 10-man Everton, and they didn't look comfortable. They didn't look like they had control of the game. Well, against Tottenham, they had control of the game. And what a player Bruno Fernandes is. Quick shout out to him. Incredible player, incredible game from the Reds. Now we head to Bournemouth and Aston Villa. I had predicted a 2-1 win for Villa, and it's ended in a 1-1 draw. Villa just keep dropping points. It's going to catch up to them. I mean, I think as of right now, United are only 3 points back, and man, objects in the mirror are closer than they appear is what Villa fans must be thinking. I mean, that midfield is just in shambles right now, and the injuries are so unfortunate. But you got to push through. Or do you just play for Europa League football like I had mentioned on the last show? It's such a tough decision to make because no one wants to give up on the Premier League season in early February. Now, with that being said, you do have the best coach in terms of winning the Europa League that you possibly can. I mean, just think about it. Unai Emery has won the Europa League multiple times, and he's looked good whilst doing it. So that's the only thing that you can really hold your head on, and we'll see what happens with Villa. Then we move on to Arsenal versus Sunderland. I had predicted a 1-0 win for Arsenal, and they ended up getting a 3-0 thrashing at the Emirates. They finally started scoring goals from open play, something that I said that they needed to do desperately, and it's good to see. This is what you want to see from them. You don't want to see them just winning off of corners FC. I want to see open play goals. And shout out to Victor Gyökeres. He looks like he's finally starting to come into his own in this Arsenal side as he nets 2 in this 3-0 Arsenal win. Very happy for him. And yeah, not much else to say for Sunderland. Just tough playing the top of the league, especially at their place. I just want to do a quick check, real quick, that I actually am live. Just a quick check. I don't see myself as live, which is slightly concerning. but we're going to push through because this might just end up becoming a video that I then release. West Ham versus Burnley. Now, I got to be honest, I did not watch this game. I had predicted it to be 0-0. There were other better games on, so I was just not keeping an eye on this game whatsoever. The game ended up finishing 2-0 West Ham, which is a huge result for them, much needed in order to kind of stay out of those bottom two places, which are just terrible, and maybe they can climb their way back and climb their way out. Very good win for them. We'll preview them later. Everton versus Fulham. I had predicted a draw and didn't watch this game either. Again, there was Chelsea and Wolves on and Arsenal Sunderland on. I just didn't have an eye on this game. Apparently it was own goal central, though, after looking at the statistics. I mean, what happened there? The 2 own goals out of the 3 goals in the game, I mean, that is just something to be seen. Next, we move on to the Chelsea and Wolves match, which I was fortunate enough to watch. I did predict a 4-1 win for Chelsea, and they ended up winning 3-1. Cole Palmer nets a first-half hat-trick. I don't care if 2 of the goals were penalties. That is still impressive. You still got to score both penalties. It was great positioning for the 3rd goal. He's an incredible player, and I'm honestly just happy for him that he's back scoring goals and playing well. The league is better when Cole Palmer is at his best. Chelsea with a crucial 3 points to keep them in the Champions League places. Next, we move on to Brentford versus Newcastle. And this game was very interesting because both teams really need the points. I mean, Newcastle probably need the points more because they're a bigger club. They expect to be fighting for Europe, yet they just can't find that form. They can't maintain that consistency to push into those European places. And the pressure's got to be starting to mount on Eddie Howe. I mean, I'm going to be putting a video out on Newcastle later this week and their woes currently at the club, but things aren't looking good. And there are some big players, big names that might be coming off the books this summer. With all that being said, I had predicted a 2-1 win for Brentford. They ended up winning 3-2. Shout out to Dango Watara, who played spoiler at St. James Park and just really crushed all hope that Newcastle fans might have had. Bruno Guimaraes leveled it late in the game. I believe it was the 78th minute or something like that. But Watara just crushed all of the Newcastle fans' souls. Shout out to him. And shout out to Brentford. They are playing incredible football this year, something that not many people would have predicted after losing Thomas Frank and Brian Mbeumo and Yohan Wissa, 2 of their best players, and their coach, obviously. Palace and Brighton, I had predicted a 2-0 win for Brighton. I'm going to be honest, I slept through this game. It was 9 a.m. on Sunday, just wasn't able to watch, slept right through it. But it doesn't seem like I missed much. It was a 1-0 win to Palace. Ismail Assar scored the lone goal of the game. Not much more to say about that. And finally, we move on to the Super Sunday match. Liverpool versus Manchester City. Now, this game could have just been simmed up until about the 70th minute because there was absolutely nothing going on. The game was dead. It looked terrible. Everyone was just going through the motions. It just didn't have that classic bite that you would see to a City-Liverpool game at Anfield in the past. However, the Hungarian man Dominik Szoboszlai comes up with a worldie. He has a free kick about 30 or so yards out. Donnarumma's a couple yards off his line, and he's saying, go on, beat me from there. And boy, did he. This dude laced a Roberto Carlos-esque free kick outside of the foot, essentially, hitting across the ball, and it was exquisite. One of the best free kicks I've ever seen live with my own eyes. But the highs in football also then lead to the lows in football, and the sport that can bring you so high up will then crush you right down, and that's what it did to Dominic Szoboszlai as he kept Bernardo Silva onside for Manchester City's first goal, in which ultimately led to their comeback, winning 2-1 at Anfield. Haaland had a pen to win it late in extra time, stoppage time, and that's all she wrote. Szoboszlai ended up receiving a red card as well, and his day just went from incredible to the lowest of lows. You got to feel for him there. That's tough. Now, that wraps up Game Week 25, but Game Week 26 is just on the horizon. Matches start today at roughly 2:30 p.m. New York time, I believe, and they carry on through tomorrow, finishing off with a single match on Thursday, I believe. That is Arsenal. We'll get to who they're facing and the prediction for that. But we must start with what comes first. And today we start with Chelsea hosting Leeds. Now, this is a very interesting match because Leeds are playing with some gusto right now. They've got some momentum. They're looking kind of exciting. The problem is they're traveling to Stamford Bridge, and apparently Chelsea are leading the league in XG right now, which is very interesting. I would not have guessed that. Manchester United are second, I believe. Manchester City are third. Regardless, I am predicting a 2-0 win for Chelsea. I think that they just overpower Leeds today. I think they just have a better team, and sometimes that's all it comes down to. Next up, we have Bournemouth traveling to Everton, and this is another kind of sneaky, potentially good game. Bournemouth kind of remind me of a Fulham. They like to play a bit open, and Everton might be able to get at them. I'm predicting a 2-1 win for Everton, and let's see what happens up in Merseyside. Tottenham welcome Newcastle into London, and let's just say that both teams really need a result here today. And because of that, I'm going to predict a 2-2 draw. Newcastle are slipping down the table. Tottenham are just a few places above the relegation zone. They had their terrible season last year. It seems as though that's continued into this year, even with the change in manager, and things are just not going right for the Spurs. A win today could change that and swing things around potentially, but I don't see it happening. Then, match of the day, Manchester United travel to London Stadium to face West Ham United. Now, United need a win to win 5 in a row, so that lad can go get a haircut. With that being said, I'm a little nervous. I think that Manchester United are falling into a trap with this game. This is the classic, relegation side. Manchester United should thrash them, especially with their current results and their current form. But it's never that simple. It's never that easy. It never goes the way you want it to. But now, I've just read reports that there are some West Ham players, key players, that are apparently injured. And that could really play into Manchester United's hands. And I think it will play into Manchester United's hands. We move on to tomorrow, in which Aston Villa are playing host to Brighton. Now, I see Villa winning this one 1-0, a very close game. That's just because I think that they narrowly stay ahead of United. I don't think they're going to drop points again. I think the fans really need this. They're playing at Villa Park, and I just think that they're really going to get up for this one. Villa 1, Brighton 0. Palace host Burnley, in which should be a riveting game. I'm obviously being facetious. I don't really think this will be all that exciting. Palace are just not the team they were of last year, and Burnley are obviously Burnley. They're most likely going to get relegated. It's not looking good for them. I predict Palace 2-1 win. Now we have Fulham traveling to the Etihad to face Manchester City. And this game really puzzled me. I wasn't exactly sure the way I wanted to go with this in terms of a prediction. I really think that Fulham can get at City. But at the same time, my brain is telling me it's Manchester City. It's the second half of the season. They're probably going to start to go on a little bit of a run here, especially as they push Arsenal. And in that case, give me Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. I think tomorrow's going to be a big game for Erling Haaland. I think he nets 2. We have Wolves visiting Forest, which, again, not the best match of the week. Wolves are just not a good team by any standard, and neither really are Forest for all that matter. At least Gibbs White is such an exciting talent, and Elliot Anderson is one to watch for many big clubs. Just for those two reasons and that star power, I'm going to say Forest 1-0. Could be Forest 2-0, but I think Forest definitely get the win. To wrap up tomorrow's matches, we have Liverpool traveling to Sunderland. And this is a tricky game. This is one of those games where it could start the slide for Liverpool. It could start the slide where they don't even see European football next year. And that is not what can happen to them. They need to treat this game like a cup final, because if you lose to Sunderland, at Sunderland, they're just a few points behind you in the league. Things start to get a bit dodgy. I am predicting a Sunderland win, 2-1. I think they bounce back after that Arsenal performance, and I think they get a result. And that would be very damning to Liverpool because, man, the fall from grace that they are having is just horrendous. And the Premier League needs their good teams to be good, but it just seems as though Manchester United and Liverpool can never be good at the same time. I don't know what it is. That's just what seems to be the case right now. And wrapping things up, Thursday in London, we have Arsenal facing Brentford. This game has potential to have massive title implications. If Arsenal go to Brentford and drop points, then Manchester City will be breathing down their neck, potentially just 3 points behind them after this midweek match. I am predicting an Arsenal 2-1 win, just because I think that they're starting to click from open play. We saw it a bit last game against Sunderland, and I think we're going to see a bit more of it Thursday. Only time will tell. That wraps up everything Premier League. I hope you enjoyed all of the Premier League talk, but now we are going to be switching gears to tennis, because that's what this channel is all about. We're covering tennis and we're covering Premier League, and these live shows will start to incorporate both more and more. So, as we kick off the tennis segment, we look at the Dallas Open, which has just started yesterday. And man, it's good to see tennis back. It's just so exciting. The Australian Open really gave us a great taste of what to expect for this season. And now we get to see the smaller tournaments, which is really great to see who's going to progress this season. Who is going to try to make that big jump to maybe get into the top 10, maybe get in the top 5, and potentially start to challenge the likes of a Jannik Sinner, a Carlos Alcaraz, even a Novak Djokovic. Francis Tiafoe yesterday took down Terence Ottman in 3 sets. Good to see from Big Foe. I really love his game. He looked on it. He was moving incredible. Very happy for Francis. Davidovich Fokina also won in straight sets. No surprise there. He's been very good over the past 9 months or so, towards the end of last season and the beginning of this season. So shout out to Foki. We have 2 Americans winning yesterday as well, Sebastian Korda and Brandon Nakashima. So shout out to them. I'm unfamiliar with their games, but I'm sure as the tournament progresses, if they are still in and playing, then I will be seeing more of them. Today we have some absolute belters on the court. Get ready for this. So starting off today, we have Marin Cilic versus Lerner Tien. That should be an incredible match. I like Lerner. I think that just because he's younger and moving better, that we'll see a win out of him. And I really hope we do, because I think he is one of those players that is ready to take the next step. Back on court, Grigor Dimitrov taking on Alex Michelsen. I cannot wait to watch Dimitrov back. I mean, after last year's Wimbledon, when he had Jannik Sinner on the ropes and then he was forced to retire, it was just so sad. I really felt for him. When Dimitrov is on, he looks unplayable. Alcaraz has even said it himself. He said one of his most frustrating matches of all time was against Grigor Dimitrov, saying that he just had no answer for him. And that's what he can do to people. If he stays fit, which is a big if, then I think we'll get an exciting season out of him. I really just hope that he can stay healthy. Then we have Ben Shelton facing off against Gabriel Diallo. Super excited for this one. I think that Ben Shelton is an incredible talent. He is someone that I want to start seeing take that next big step, making it to slam quarterfinals and semifinals consistently, because that's ultimately what he needs to do to further his career. I do like him today to take the win. We have Taylor Fritz facing off Marcos Giron. I might have butchered that, but yeah, it's great to see Taylor Fritz back. He had a great season last year, making it to the semifinals of the U.S. Open, and I expect that form to continue. We'll see. Love Taylor Fritz, though. He's an incredible tennis player. Then we have Denis Shapovalov versus Rafael Jodar. I believe Jodar is a qualifier, so super exciting for him. Shapovalov probably will take him down. Who knows? Qualifiers like to go on runs on these 250s and 500s, but I just don't see it happening. Then we have Sho Shimabukuro versus Miomir Kecmanovic. I may have butchered both of those names as well, but I don't know anything about either of these two. I'm going to have to check out the highlights because I don't know if I'll be able to watch live, but I definitely want to see what's going on with these two. Then we have Flavio Caboli versus Jack Pennington-Jones. What a name that is, by the way. From the Brit himself, Jack Pennington-Jones. That just sounds like something right out of a mystery novel. It's got that English bite to it. That Jack Pennington-Jones. I don't know if I should do accents anymore. But then we have Alexander Kovacic and Riley Opelka. Labeled Servbot. This year, I want to see a step up from him as well. I want to see him start to take out some more ranked opponents. He's got the serve on him. It's just really tough for him to move at times, and that is very unfortunate. He's just so big that he's not going to be moving like someone that's 6 foot, like a Carlos. Nonetheless, I am looking forward to watching Opelka play because his serve is absolutely smashing, and I love to see it. We We also have the Rotterdam Open. I'm not really following that as closely. I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to the Dallas Open, but some notable moments from the Rotterdam Open. We have Cam Norrie winning in straight sets. And then we have Medvedev. And Medvedev is always going to Medvedev. He's gone down in the first round, and he just lost the plot yesterday. He was smashing his racket on the court. He was kicking the wall. It seems as though his struggles and woes from last year have continued into this year, and it's just sad to see that happen to a player that had so much potential and that was so exciting. But hopefully Medvedev can find his form again, but as of right now, it does not look good for him. I definitely will be tuning into the de Minaur versus Autofields match. That's really the only one that I'm super locked in on. I love de Minaur. I think he is such a fun player. Carlos Alcaraz matched up against him, took him down pretty handily, gave him some good feedback, which I think the Demon should take into consideration. I do think he is adjusting his game too much for these bigger players, but when he's playing his game, he is just so solid. He's moving back and forth with ease, and it just seems like he's everywhere on the court all at once. So definitely going to be tuning in for that match later today. And now we will end things off with the WTA Open. We have the Qatar Open going on right now in Doha, the Masters 1000, first of the year for the women's WTA. And it's just great to see all these star athletes competing and getting competitive and going at each other. Unfortunately, we had some retirements. Amanda Anisimova was forced to retire in round one. She won the tournament last year. It's just super unfortunate to see what happened to her. Hopefully she can get back going soon. Katerina Siniakova defeats Clara Towson, which is a huge win for her. Siniakova has had some recent struggles, and hopefully this match gets her back on track. Emma Navarro takes down Tatjana Maria out of Germany. Huge for Emma Navarro. She needs to really get some big wins under her belt this year. She's just needing to take that next step. Emma Raducanu was also forced to retire, which is super upsetting. She had just gotten to the final in Transylvania in the ATP 250 there, but forced to retire early in this tournament, which is just super unfortunate for her. She just really cannot find her way back after winning that 2021 U.S. Open. Every year we look forward to her doing something again, but unfortunately, it's just not written in the stars right now. What's up, Schultes? We got the show going on right now. I didn't even know if I was live, but glad to see that I could get someone to tune in. Next, we have Mira Andreeva, who took down Magda Linette. Probably butchered that name as well, but Mira is the future of women's tennis. I think she's still 18, maybe 19 years old, and the level she is playing at right now is a career Grand Slam level. Like, I really think that she will have the career slam when it's all said and done, and she could be looking at the likes of 7, 8, 9, 10 slams. She is such an incredible talent. She gives no shits on the court. She's all attitude, plays with her heart on her sleeve, and you love to see it. Today, in Qatar, matches have already been played. I haven't checked on them. I'm going to take a look after this. But we see the likes of Coco Gauff, Iga Swiatek, Australian Open champion Elena Rybakina, Victoria Mboko, Karolina Muchova, Jasmine Paolini, Alina Svitolina, and many, many more. I'm looking forward to checking those results out and covering them in a video that might go out later this week. We'll see. Might wait until after the Qatar Open is finished. But yeah, that wraps up our show. I appreciate everyone watching, and I look forward to recording the next one. The next time I will be going live will most likely be this Friday at around 8 a.m. again. I'm going to try to keep at least 2 live shows weekly and then build on it from there. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment on what you think is going to happen in Game Week 26 in the Premier League. Who you think might win the Dallas Open, and who you're pulling for in the Qatar Open for the Women's 1000 Masters. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.